APW was making it for a while. The price was very unstable. And the shipment was also extremely unstable, including the movement, the 4801 Dandong movement, because the factory didn't debug it well, or poor assembly, or some minor defects. They didn't improve it, because such a precise thing as a watch. It affects the whole thing. Right, so it's not as simple as 1 + 1. Many things need to be adapted. So the return rate of that movement is quite high. The return rate of the watch is quite high. But the 4801 Dandong movement is extremely stable. We all know that some of VS's movements are useful, okay, such as some cheap versions and civilian versions are useful, so this movement is definitely worth affirming. And APS, now it should be with these case factories and dial factories, and the agreements have already started. And it can be sent out. So, on this basis, APS, the polishing of the movement and some other things, it is said that more than 40 accessories have been added, making the movement more compatible with the case, and the dial and the needle more compatible. So it promises to be very stable. Which is not just a little better than ABW. ABW is first of all an unknown factory. Small factory. Secondly, its price is very erratic. The price of goods sold and the price received and the price given to customers, which are completely different. It's not as stable as APS. The price of APS is just over 3,000, which is very good. And the shipment is stable. So we all know that APS specializes in AP. Right. It is a benchmark in the industry. So choosing it is okay. Just like the C that has failed before and now. And VS's Lao Li Shi. Right. These two are their Lao Li Shi, which are definitely benchmarks. So AP can look at APS. There is no problem. Let's take a look. It was launched with 3 colors and a blue one that I haven't tried. This is a black panda with a white eye on top. And this is a white dial with black eyes. Let's take a look. The earliest was the OM factory and JH factory. OM factory is good at the appearance with small eyes, and the distance between each part is also good. But it doesn't have a timing function. It doesn't exist. It's just for the appearance. But the thickness is too thick. The first and second are Go factory. The watch can move. It also uses the Dandong 7750 movement. But the appearance is extremely poor, which is obviously fake. It doesn't look like a 26331 at all. And the thickness is also extremely thick. That's not good either. Let me say something here. At present, the APS is definitely better than the APW. In the case of the 4801 movement, first and second, the dial is still not very well made. If you go to a watch store, you will know. In fact, it is also a plate of APW. I've looked at the APW dial. Its spacing is the same as that of the APS. Let's take a look at the original version. The space here is not that big. You can go to a watch store to have a look. After looking at these shortcomings, everything else is above 90 points. It must be the ceiling of current combat shoes. Is the ceiling of current combat shoes. There's nothing else to say. Let's take a look at its dial. In all aspects, let's look at the small dial. The silver borders on the edges of the dial are made, which is very good. First and second, there is also a chocolate grid, and for the radial lines, I use the light here because there is no sunlight. It's not obvious, but it's definitely okay. The radial calendar is also relatively centered. Okay, let's look at the needle. The workmanship is acceptable. For the APS shell, the wire drawing process is well done. In fact, all the shells, straps, shells, and straps, and back covers, are all made by the same foundry. So there isn't much difference. Only the dials and hands may have many companies competing. And what factory are all assembly plants? In other words, they buy parts from everywhere and assemble them together, and they choose the better ones. And the dial is slightly yellowish. This is also in line with the version. Some people say that APW is too white and there will be no APW 26331, but I highly don't recommend it. Let's take a look. This timing function. Just press it to start timing. There are 2 small discs on top, which are for timing, and the bottom is a second hand, so usually you can turn off the big second hand. Well, there's nothing to say. It's 11 centimeters thick, the 4801 model. There is no 2385 model now. Why use the 4801? It's because the 2385 model hasn't been molded. The 26331 is 2385. Some people may ask why not use the 4401. The 4401 is completely irrelevant. Okay, In terms of size, it's not suitable. You can't do that at all. The 4801, because of this movement, is very suitable for modification. It can be said to be the 9015 of the chronograph. This movement, it can be said that it has a large space for modification, so the 4801 is used here now. I don't know if there will be a 2385. If there is, the price will also skyrocket. There's nothing else to see in other watches. The brush process is also good. There are 3 colors for the first release and a blue one. The price is also better than that of APW and more stable. APS is also a big factory.